Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, September 10th, 2020, 9/10/20. Welcome to all of you. Today, we're going to do a little bit of viewer question and answer time. It's not going to cover every topic. It's going to cover some topics that the questions or comments that I found most interesting, going to address them. One thing I constantly get is, why is this console sitting out like that? Well, it was the victim of an unfortunate accident on Christmas Eve, and I am trying to repair it so it'll be ready for Christmas 2020. We all need a little bit of cheer. I'm going to talk about some topics today, and I want to preface it by saying I don't have any ill will, negative intentions. I don't have any hatred in my heart for anybody, or even dislike in my heart on YouTube. When you get to a certain age, things really start to fall into, you gain a lot of perspective on things, and you realize that wasting time on things like hating or disliking it's not conducive to the enjoyment of the rest of your life, and you value that, okay? And really, in a lot of ways, I'm no better than anybody else out there, and I withhold criticism about things because, as I've stated a lot of time, trying to take the high road feels better to me, in the sense that it's more in keeping with my golden years here. I don't want to go out as that person whose heart is filled with rage and hate. So that was just my way of prefacing this. There's a few different, I think I got 8 questions. Some of them will take a little time to get into. Let's start with the lighthearted stuff. Here's a viewer in Pennsylvania tells me, I love the cinematography, but good cameras are expensive, so I'll pass. Hey, you know what? There's the old saying in videography and cinematography and creativity that the best camera that you can use is the one that you already have. And it's very true. It's what you do with the camera that really counts. So many of my cinematic videos have been filmed with my Samsung Galaxy S10 and S9, and they've been great cameras for me. There's a lot of convenience about just using a simple smartphone camera, being able to use Power Director by Cyberlink just to do the editing and adding music into the video. It's really the eye you have and the story you have to tell. As the great Casey Neistat said, the story trumps all. If you have a compelling story or you have a compelling imagery to share, then that trumps all. And it's not going to matter what kind of camera you are using. Major Hollywood movies have been shot on iPhones, and they've been used to film commercials and things. So it's just depends. You have to kind of rejig your thinking on that. Here's another one. I do use music. How do I get music for making videos? I got strikes, and I get matches for some of mine. I got tired of, I have a working relationship with White Sand, who's a very gifted composer that lives over in Europe. Very nice guy. And he's kind enough to allow free use of his music with attribution. In other words, if you put the link to his Spotify and other things and you give him credit, it's fine. But I like to go above and beyond if I'm using somebody's work, even if it's free, and try to send them a little something on a regular basis to reward their creativity. It's extraordinary. But otherwise, I got tired of searching around for music, and you see playlists that claims it's copyright free, and you'll go to use a piece out of that and you'll have a claim dropped on it, and you have to fight. There's a lot of false claims. There's a lot of copyright squatters that will come in and test whether you're willing to fight them. They'll drop a claim willy-nilly on a video, and if you don't respond to it with proof, they'll be getting the revenue if you're monetized. I got tired of fighting that battle of trying to find copyright free use music. So I finally signed up, I think at the spring of 2020 here, I signed up for Epidemic Sound or Epidemic Music. Maybe it's Epidemic Sound. You can put either one into the search box. And I think for the princely sum of $100 a year, they link it to my channel, and everything I upload, I don't have to worry about anything at all, copyright, anything like that. So it saves me a lot of time, hours scratching around trying to find music. If you could find it for free use, would it be appropriate for your video? And a site like Epidemic Sound, you know, puts things in genres of background music and drama and horror, and you can instruments. If you just want piano or you want female vocalists, you can just put it in the search box, and they're always working to update their music database, which is great. So check them out. This is kind of fun. You know, I'm a movie buff, right? I love movies and I love the making of movies, particularly the behind the scenes stuff. And this person asked, what are the top 5 movies of all time? Classic movies. And I would say far and away, still the biggest box office champ worldwide of all time would be Gone with the Wind. A very compelling story of riches to rags, and great storyline, great acting, great writing, incredible breakthrough camera work and scene composition. You don't just tell people get into the scene. You're very careful about how you frame shots and things like that, and I think that was extraordinary. As is Citizen Kane. Orson Welles, the great Orson Welles, the first movie he ever made was arguably most considered the greatest movie of all time because of the technical achievements, especially something called deep focus in his movies, where his movies you would see things like the human eye sees things, instead of close-up objects being in focus and then distant objects being blurred in that bokeh effect. He would design and film, his cinematographer Greg Tolan would design scenes so that the entire frame was in focus, and you had the whole scene was in focus, whether the person was apparently standing at the other end of a giant hall at Xanadu or right up close working over. So there's a lot of amazing things that were done with that movie. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Many of you know Jimmy Stewart's my favorite actor of all time because he's kind of like the everyday Joe, and I love that persona. Jack Lemmon, to some extent, was that way, just kind of your everyday guy, nothing special. And sometimes those provide the most interesting stories. When you take a simple, unassuming, unpretentious person, maybe a country bumpkin is in the case with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and you put him into a high-powered scene of Congress in Washington, and just the tragic manipulations and the backdoor dealings and graft and corruption, and to see, I'm not going to give a spoiler alert, but it's probably the acting at its finest, and he won an Academy Award for Best Actor in a very difficult year, 1939, which is considered the ultimate classic golden age year of Hollywood. It's a Wonderful Life. Again, Jimmy Stewart, great story, message. Guy was disappointed. He thought he wasted his life. Every time he wanted to break out of his small town burb and do big things, he was thwarted because he always tried to help people out. And he had the mistaken notion that his life never amounted to anything, and he would probably be better off if he wasn't around. You know, if he offed himself off that bridge at Bedford Falls. And it's a great story because for the first time in film, it had given a chance for audience to see and realize that their life touches more people than they realize. And coming back and as an unknown person in town and discovering that nobody knows him anymore, and he was able to see that he really did have a wonderful life. And it's a remarkable, it's a holiday Christmas movie, and it's a great movie for people that feel like their life doesn't amount to a hill of beans. You would be surprised. So it's a good message. I have to put whatever happened to Baby Jane on the list because I think the characterization in that movie and the storyline is very compelling, and I was never much on. Excuse me, I'm just choked with the air here, and air quality so bad. But Betty Davis, who I was never really fond of as an actor, she was willing to really go ghetto in her looks and everything, and it was an amazing, amazing portrayal, an amazing storyline. It became a real cult classic. Here's one I got that's if you could do your life over again, what would you be? I guess the main thing, I always kind of want to be a mechanical engineer because I like how things work. I love machinery. I love processes, designing. You know, you look at as I said before, you look at a bottling factory and you take glass bottles in at one end and all these machines manipulate them, fill them, seal them, box them. I love that kind of, love tinkering too. Or the second thing would have been a trial lawyer, because trial lawyers is the branch of law where you get to combine a little bit of theatrics and drama with the practice of law, and you have to be persuasive. You have to be compelling, and I think it's very interesting in those. It's where the rubber meets the road for me. I couldn't sit around and do contract, real estate, patent law on a daily basis, that kind of thing. Here we go. Now we're going to get into talking about terminations on YouTube. Been there, done that before. This person said, if you get your YouTube channel terminated, does Gmail stop working? And the answer is no. YouTube's products are segregated. You have the OneDrive or whatever the hell it is. You have Gmail. You have a couple different services that are on your Google account, and each one is a freestanding entity. And you never lose your Gmail account unless you're abusive in Gmail, okay? And if you lose a YouTube channel, it has no connection to the functionality of your Gmail, okay? YouTube considers them separate products within the whole offering menu of what Google does. So you don't lose that, and no one should assume that because Gmail is still operative, that an associated account with YouTube is somehow in good standing or whatever. It's not the case. They're just totally separate. That's my understanding, because I was always able to communicate with YouTube through that way. How do you get terminated for a single event? It can be something that YouTube just judges to be of a nature that you're so far out of bounds with the understanding of the YouTube terms and conditions that it's almost hopeless that you will be able to comprehend and understand what the guidelines are. You're so far off the playing field, right? You're up in the bleacher seats. You're not even on the field, okay? And YouTube can look at a single event and terminate you for that, and it tells you, and it gives you guidelines for what it can be. Here's another one. Do you get AdSense if your channel goes down? there's a lot of misunderstanding about AdSense too. AdSense is another standalone product. If you lose, you have to screw up in AdSense to lose AdSense, and just because a channel gets termed out doesn't mean that AdSense disappears. Your AdSense cumulative, say for the prior month of August, you will not have access to that. They will not forward any money to you on that because, well, your channel is terminated. And unlike YouTube, where it's theoretically possible to come back, there's never any coming back from AdSense. Any abuse, any machine manipulations of views or things like that, they can detect whether it's you or somebody else. You'll have people that buy views during live streams and things like that. You'll see the view count go up and then it starts to go down. YouTube knows that it wasn't of your own doing. They can see the source of that, and oftentimes it comes out of the Asia or the subcontinent of India area when those things go on. So you need to really protect your AdSense, because you can also associate that with web pages and things. If you build enough of a following on a web page, then you bring it to the attention of YouTube, and they will begin to put ads on your personal web page and things. So it's something that can always travel with you theoretically, unless you screw it up. Okay, and we'll spend a little time on this last one. Can a YouTube algorithm ban your channel? Someone claimed if enough people mass flag something, it gets removed. Is that true? This is just my opinion. The answer would be no. And in my communications with YouTube over the years, they're like, mass flag. It doesn't matter how many times something gets flagged. It gets reviewed, and if it violates YouTube's terms and conditions, it gets removed. No amount of flagging or anything cumulatively is going to result in the removal of a video unless it violates YouTube's terms and conditions. Now, are there bots that take down things? Yeah, I've had live streams go down, and then they'll tell you, send you a message, this is not a strike, it was done by automated system, you just appeal it, and within a few minutes you're good to go again. So it's a very difficult topic, but what the question is, and the question is not being asked, is will a channel be machine or algorithmically terminated? And the answer is no. That's a major step. Okay, so what happens is, and it doesn't matter what time you can be live streaming and your channel goes down, doesn't matter, right? YouTube is a 24-hour operation. You have people in Europe, you have people in Asia, and they're constantly reviewing things, and it's not consequential what time or where it happens, right? It's just that a decision was finally made because a human being looked at something and decided to pull the plug. So it can be a very delayed decision. It's not some simultaneous event, okay? Flagging just means they take a look at it. Yeah, there's algorithmic flagging, but when it comes to terminations, you better believe that there in no way that final decision to pull the plug is automated in any sense of the word. That's definitely somebody that realizes you've put a lot of time and effort into YouTube, and they're not just going to willy-nilly take you out of the game. So we also have people that a lot of people on YouTube don't realize for the last couple of years we've had the YouTube Trusted Flagger program. It's people that don't work for YouTube, but YouTube has designated them because they applied for it and they have some evidence that they're have decent judgment, and these people are able to flag videos. You don't know who they are. They don't disclose it. They make the rounds in various communities, maybe live streams and things, and they have the ability to flag either a video or an event. Not remove it, but they get sort of the fast track into YouTube because they're trusted flaggers. YouTube wants to save as much human time and effort as possible, and they don't want to have to review every strike that comes down. So these people are very skilled in making sure that they're flagging stuff that YouTube will uphold. Okay, and that's a very important process that you don't hear people talking about. Is these people called trusted flaggers on YouTube that have the fast track into the process. So that's my takeaway, that nobody's terminated without a human lookover, just like nobody's reinstated without a human lookover. So you never really know what the outcome is going to be. With that, I'm going to close the very interesting questions today. Wish you all a wonderful day. Your comments are very appreciated. And thumbs up, and any other questions you have, thumbs up as always are appreciated. Thanks, everybody.